Are we live? Are we live? Are we live? Yes, we are. What's going on? This is Travis Witherspoon from Carter Cow Capital, helping you fight for your financial freedom throughout the forest market. This is a Tuesday edition of Trade with Travis. I have 8:03 a.m. Hopefully, everybody's doing very well this morning. Last night, ended up going through some of the trades that we ended up talking about. Ended up hitting on, well, ended up taking profit on Nas, but I think it's still in for the people that are still kind of looking at that trade overall. We will go through some of those trades in a little bit more in a very brief amount of time, obviously because of this morning. But for the people that end up tapping in, make sure that you end up saying, "Hey, there's a pair that you would like to be able to take a look at." I got about 15 to 20 minutes to be able to spare before I have to be able to get out of here. So we'll try to get through everything somewhat quickly and be able to go from there. So let me go ahead and get the disclaimer out there, and then after that, we'll go ahead and get rocking. I'm not a CTA, so I'm not going to tell you whether to buy or to sell. What I'm going to do is teach you education, and from that education, you can be able to make your own informed decision. Understand that trading involves risk. It involves risk of being able to make money. It also involves risk of being able to lose money. So please keep that in mind. And understand that past performance is not indicative of future results, which means that if you end up making money yesterday, it's not promised that you'll end up making money today. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening with the economic calendar. Let's see what's happening for us, what's going to end up happening overall today, and then we'll kind of move from there. So Australian dollar ended up having an interest rate decision. They actually ended up keeping it at 2.35%. They kind of kept it there. So I don't know how that ended up affecting the overall market. I didn't take a look at the Australian dollar pairs yesterday, but I'm pretty sure if they kept it somewhat neutral and it's been that way for a little bit, then it's probably destabilizing. You probably might end up seeing a little bit of a push in their favor during the London session, while um, everything else kind of moves from there. So a little bit later on today, we're going to end up having ISM PMI, services PMI from the United States, and then after that, we're going to end up having GDP from the Australian dollar a little bit later on today. Okay, so good. So let's go ahead and get into the big three real quick. Take a look at what's going on with that, and then from there, talk about everything else that's going on. Uh, and kind of move forward from there. I'm going to start off with oil because that's the first thing that popped up on my screen. So we're going ahead and go with that. Um, from a weekly perspective, what we're looking at is the market in the buy zone, rejected off of this inner trend line. So that means that to me that this market could continue to keep on falling. There's a D extension that's expected to be hit at $70 or at $83 a barrel. Currently, right now, it has not hit yet, but it is in an R3, which means that this market could push all the way down to that level and be able to complete that move before the market actually ends up resetting and kind of moving from there. So once it hits $83 a barrel, because it is the winter months, I do expect that the market will start to turn around, and then after that, we'll start getting back in the oil like we typically do during the winter time anyway. All right, well, we take a look at it from a daily perspective. We can see that the market did reject off of that movement when it got up to 96. Then from there, it has been pushing to the downside. Currently, right now, it's at a 236 retracement when it comes down to that move, which means that what you'll probably end up seeing that the market will probably end up falling down to the 127 for the drop. The weekly is at 86. The daily, the daily is at 77. So somewhere around there will probably end up being the fall area before the market actually ends up making somewhat of a push back to the upside. I don't expect that we're going to end up seeing a major fall below that level. So currently, right now, if I'm looking at oil, I'm looking at the Canadian dollar, I'm looking at being able to look at selling opportunities. Currently, right now, the question is, would I look at a selling opportunity at this particular point? The answer is no, because the market is still in somewhat of a consolidation spot overall, and being able to move from there. All right, so let's take a look at the United States dollar index. United States dollar index, as we take a look at it, the market is pushing up. It did hit the D extension on the daily. The market is continuing to go up to that weekly position that we end up talking about, 13,005, yeah, 13,493. Um, as this market continues to push, remember it only had a 236 retracement as well, so you may end up seeing a little bit of a fight back at 13,205, which is about 2 points away. So may end up seeing a little bit of a pushback today, but overall this market is humming, and I do expect that it will go ahead and continue to go up to 13,500 before actually being able to make a move. So if you take a look at that from a daily position and a weekly position, the market is going up to the upside. It is a little bit overbought, so I probably wouldn't look at being able to add on to a trade. If you would have got in last week when we talked about the market breaking that counter trend line break, then you would have been good. Currently, right now, there's not enough risk reward to allow me to be able to get in to be able to make a move off of that. Uh, let's take a look at what's happening with gold. We take a look at gold. Gold is pretty simple, still in consolidation. It bounced off of 1685 a couple of days ago, and since then the market has kind of pushed up a couple, points, and since then has just retraced a little bit. So really, no push. The market's in the buy zone, but I'm not interested in taking anything when it comes down to gold, at least not right now. So I'm just gonna hold off on that one as well. Everyone, give me a little bit of a break. My baby's getting a little restless. Oh, bless you, baby. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna keep on going. All right, here we go. Um, so we talked about the big three. Let's go ahead and get into the index pairs real quick, and then see what's happening with that. So, start off with Nas 100 because that was the trade that we end up getting into. Currently, right now, uh, the market is being very fickle with this. And obviously, we talked about it being inside of consolidation, and we said that there was one small little brief move that we could be able to get based off this box consolidation. It was from 150 all the way up till 270. Currently, right now, if you notice, gave us a little bit of a break. It happened last night. It got all the way up to 209. When it did that, I actually ended up taking profit. Actually ended up getting back in one more time and tried to push my luck, but I didn't put my stop loss back at the lowest point. So ended up getting stopped out of that one. So it's kind of like I end up making some, but I end up giving some away, which is never good when you end up doing that. Sometimes you just got to get out of it. But from there, what is happening is that we're starting to see another batch of consolidation when it comes down to this movement. So this makes this trade and it makes that overall movement from this point moving forward untradeable. So at this particular point, if you are in the trade and if you have not taken profit yet, I would say go ahead and take profit and go ahead and get out of this move. The reason why I would say get off the move is because the market is still in consolidation, and as long as it's going to end up being in consolidation, then there's really not going to be a favorable direction on any manner that's going to allow you to be able to get as much that you want from this overall movement. You go, mama. You go, mama. Okay. Down. Okay, that's better. Um, so at this particular point, even though we see that small little open pocket that may end up being there, that's not a position that I would be interested in being able to take. So I'm canceling out that trade. I'm canceling out being able to even suggest that trade anymore. That trade is over with. Obviously, we had a trade that we ended up talking about before, where you have the breakout to the upside at 12,450, going up to 12,875 with the stop loss of 12,370, and the sale and a sales stop of 12,022 with a stop loss of 12,110 and a take profit of 11,860. So we're going to keep that trade in, keep those movements in, but everything else I'm going to go ahead and cancel it out, which means that probably not going to be trading Dow and what, probably not going to be trading Nas for a little bit as it kind of guides its way through this about 300 to 400 point um, about 400 point consolidation that we're looking at overall. Okay, so there we go. Done with that. DAX end up making that move to the upside, end up making that move to the top. We haven't set up a trade yet for what I expect is going to end up happening, but I want to see how this market kind of reacts. We're going through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days of overall consolidation. There's a breakout area that's expected to be hit, but if it does break out to the upside, it's going to end up having a limited area where it could potentially go because of that block of that previous consolidation that ended up happening from August 19th all the way to August 28th. So um, I would expect that the market will continue to fall. Doesn't necessarily mean that it will fall, but because we have that block over top of another block, of consolidation, I do expect that the market could potentially just make a move to the downside. Now, if it does, now we're talking about that free fall area that we ended up talking about before, based off of this trade that's over in this area that I got to keep on moving over. That we end up having as an order for the long term position that could go all the way down to 10,390. Do I expect that's going to end up happening? I don't know, but I have the order out, and we'll see if it does happen overall when it comes down to that position. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at XVX 500. XVX 500, same deal, building out consolidation inside of the middle of this block. Now, this makes this untradeable again. You end up catching that breakout earlier yesterday, then that's great. It fell back, it went back up, it hit take profit, and then after that started to move from there. So I'm going to erase this trade. We still have. You okay, baby? Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I hear you. Um, we still have this consolidation that we're basically going to end up looking at, and because it is about consolidation and based off of the overall move, this case, because if it falls down, it's going to fall down to a block. If it goes up, it's going to go to a block. It makes this whole middle area untradeable once again. So, not going to do anything off of Nas. Don't care about if it breaks up to this upside. It has to break past this full consolidation for me to even consider about being able to get into another trade. I'm okay with being that patient to allow it to be able to move. Obviously, S&P is pretty much a slow mover anyway. So 40.15 at the break to the upside, going after 4,115 with a stop loss of 39.84. The sale trade will end up being at 39.05 with a take profit of 38.50 with a stop loss of 39.30. Okay. Last pair, let's go ahead and get through it. If there's no one that has a pair or question when it comes down to that movement, we'll end off with US 30. US 30 did not make a trade in this little middle area. Obviously, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days of built up consolidation. We end up having a resistance at 31,970, the support at 31,300. So I do expect that when the market ends up breaking one of those positions, I'll look at being able to get in. We'll kind of see how the market kind of reacts to a couple things. One, if we zoom out, we're in this large channel to the downside that is still continuing to be able to move. The question is it going to hit this resistance and then automatically fall? If it does, it will place in our sell trades, and I think our sell trades will end up being pretty good for that movement. But if it does break to the upside, we're going to have to look at being able to place in an entry somewhere here at the top, right around 31. We could basically say 32 to be safe. So 3,200 all the way up to 32,900 if that does happen. Then we'll kind of go from there. Everything is kind of making the same move that the euro dollar is basically moving, giving that same downward channel. Typically, when you end up having a downward channel, once it ends up breaking out at the top side of that downward channel, then after that, you have an explosive move. Until we have that, there's nothing to be able to truly kind of talk about at this particular point. But I do like the concept of if this market does make a move like that, we'll be ready to go when the market does break out. You like what I end up doing? I know it was very brief this morning, but please click on that boost button. You have any questions or anything else like that, please make sure that you end up sending me a personal message if you are a friend, or be able to place it inside of the chat. Make sure that I can be able to see it and I end up answering that question. We are getting very close to 600 followers when it comes down to that movement on the road to 1,000. We will have 1,000. I think that we will have 1,000 before. I'm pushing before November. I'm hoping that we can be able to get it before November. I'm going to put in the work to be able to get that done. Hopefully, everybody ends up riding with us and be able to build this community out. I truly do appreciate the time the time and the questions and the kind words for everybody else that ends up helping out. Looking at being able to create a Discord family for being able to get that done. Obviously, we have everything on Facebook and YouTube and everything else like that. But like always, make sure that you end up planning your trading your plan. I see each and every one of y'all in a 9 p.m. session, if there is a move, if there's no move that we end up taking, then I just go ahead and just wait, and we end up going from there. Everyone, take it easy.